Hey guys, Cal here with some exciting news, and that is that the next World of Warcraft expansion was just announced at Gamescom. It was announced yesterday, and the title is World of Warcraft Legion. So I'm just gonna hit every point that they talked about in their presentation, everything that we know so far to make this video kind of short because nobody likes long videos. So the whole synopsis of the expansion is that the Tome of Sargeras has been reopened, and the demons of the Burning Legion pour into our world. Their full, terrifying might is fixed on summoning the Dark Titan to Azeroth, and they've already located the key to his return. With the Alliance and Horde devastated, only you can take up Warcraft's most legendary artifacts, scour the ancient broken isles for relics of the Titans, and challenge the Legion before Azeroth's last hope dies. So, the Burning Legion are trying to open up Sargeras' tome to release Sargeras. If you don't know who Sargeras is, he's one of the most important characters in lore because he's pretty much the almighty being of World of Warcraft. Like, nothing can kill him. He's pretty much the last boss, end game. I mean, he's not in this expansion, I assume. Um, or he's not like a last boss of a raid, because I assume he can't be killed. But that's sort of what this is about, and we are stopping the Burning Legion from doing this. So, some of the main points of the expansion that I'll go more in depth into is that there's a new class, the Demon Hunters, which are a class that they've really been talking about in WoW for a long time. Like, Demon Hunters and Necromancers have both been pretty much put on the back burner, but they announced Demon Hunters will be a new class. There's a new continent called the Broken Isles. There are artifact weapons, class order halls. The level max is being increased to 110, and new dungeons and raids. And let me see one sec. I have my notes written down. And there's a new honor system going along with this expansion. They're calling it Honor System version 3. And let me just type something out. Yeah, they're calling it Honor System version 3. Apparently, version 1 was in Vanilla WoW, then version 2 was Burning Crusade through Warlords of Draenor, and now version 3 they're saying is from Legion till forever, because they feel like they're never going to change it. So let's go back to point 1, Demon Hunters. Now, Demon Hunters are being the new class. They have horns that are an accessory. No horns is also an option. Tattoos are a feature. There are also options to change the texture of your skin to be like scaly, normal, different colors. There are eye coverings, whatever that means. It is being considered as a hero class, meaning that it won't start out as level 1, because remember, Death Knights were a hero class. They started out at level 55. Now, they haven't really given a specific level for what level Demon Hunters are going to start. They did say that you'll be able to skip to Legion content, which means that possibly they get to start at level 100, but that's a little ridiculous to me. A lot of people are saying that they might start they might start at level 70. That makes more sense, really. But they haven't really given a set thing for that yet, what level they start at. They only have 2 specs. Whereas, most classes have 3 specs, druids are the only ones that have 4. These guys are the only ones that have 2. They have Vengeance, which is tank, and they have Havoc, which is DPS. They said that a healing Demon Hunter doesn't make sense. That's true. And they don't want to make 2 DPS specs because it kind of waters down the experience of the class. Fury is what their energy is called. They have some abilities like Spectral Sight, which allows them to see through walls and detect enemies. They have Metamorphosis, which allows them to transform into like a more hellish form of themselves. And probably the most overpowered thing in this game is that they're able to double jump, which is kind of amazingly ridiculous. The only races that can be them are Night Elves and Blood Elves, which makes sense in the lore. That's a good thing that Blizzard did that. And they only wear up to leather, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because if you know the armor specialization, like balance so far, Putting them at leather means that there will be 4 people that wear leather, 3 for the rest, and there's only 2 classes that were male. And if you looked at some of the Demon Hunter's armor, it looked more male-ish, but according to some of the sources, which all my sources will be in the description, um, they only wear up to male, or they only wear up to leather, sorry. Their weapons are daggers, fist weapons, one-handed axes, one-handed maces, and one-handed swords. There's no two-handed weapons with them. They can't use any two-handed weapons. And that's pretty much all we know about Demon Hunter so far. Then going to the next point is the Broken Isles. We haven't been given like too much about the Broken Isles yet. Like I said, this is everything that I'm telling you now is all that they said at their press conference. But the Broken Isles is the new continent. They haven't really said how you're going to get there yet, but the zones in no particular order are Azsuna, the Broken Shore, Val'sharah, Suramar, Stormheim, High Mountain, Arcturus, gosh, I'm butchering these names, Thaldrunoth, and Dalaran. Yeah, Dalaran is making a return to the Broken Isles. The Kirin Tor is now led by Khadgar. Apparently Jaina got pissed and like left. She's probably going to be a big thing in this expansion. But Dalaran has pretty much transitioned itself over to the Broken Isles. Now the third thing, which this is really cool, is that there's going to be new artifact weapons. Now artifact weapons are kind of Blizzard's, they're kind of the legendaries of this expansion. Now they're not legendaries. Blizzard wants that to be clear. Artifacts are not the same things as legendaries. But you know, every expansion has had like a class specific legendary, except Miss Pandaria had the capes, Warlords had the rings. But every expansion has had a legendary with it. This expansion, they haven't really said anything about legendaries, but they have said a lot about artifact weapons. Now, the artifact weapons, one of the cool things about them is that they're spec specific. So there's going to be a total of 36 artifact weapons in the game, 1 for each spec. And you get them towards the beginning of the expansion, and you're probably going to have them throughout the entire expansion because they have talent trees with them. The weapons have talent trees. You can gain artifact powers by accomplishing things like quests, achievements, stuff like that, and artifact powers let you put points into your artifact weapon talent tree. Now the artifacts have transmogs with them that unlock through leveling, achievements, rating, PvP. Like each artifact has kind of a darker version of it, which is unlocked through PvP. And artifact weapons are like, if you know a lot about WoW lore, then you probably have heard of these artifact weapons, like Ashbringer. That's an artifact weapon. Ret Pallies get the Ashbringer. That's pretty awesome. Frost Death Knights have to go into Icecrown to get shards of Frostmourne, which they construct 2 blades called Icebringer and Soul Reaper, because Frost DKs are two-handed, or Frost DKs use one-handed weapons. So they can't use Frostmourne. They take the shards of Frostmourne to make 2 weapons. They have a 2-handed DK weapon, which they haven't really said if it's going to be for blood DKs or unholy DKs, but it's called Maw the Damned. Mistweaver monks have Shilun, Staff of Mists. Fire mages have Philo Melorn. Now this one's a little interesting. Survival hunters have something called the Eagle Spear. Now it's a spear, not a bow, because there might be talks that survival hunters are becoming melee specs for hunters. Now because a hunter is my main, that seems really strange to me since I've been playing since vanilla. You know, hunters have always been ranged. So having a hunter spec all of a sudden just become a melee spec is a little weird, but it is interesting at the same time, if that is the case. I don't think that's been confirmed yet, but the Eagle Spear is what their artifact is. Enhancement Shamans are getting Doomhammer. Fangs of the First Night Saber are going to Feral and Guardian Druids, and they have transmogs like Spectral and Armored and other variants like that are available, which change the entire form of your cat or bear form, and the base cat form is also getting an updated model. Frost mages have Ebon Chill, Great Staff of Aladi, I think that's how you say that. And then Hunter, they haven't said if this is going to be Marksman or Beastmaster yet, but they're getting Thas'Doral, Legacy of the Windrunners, which is a bow. And that's about it for artifact weapons. That's all the artifact weapons we know of now. There's of course going to be more in the following days, but that's it for that. Now the fourth point is class order halls, which are kind of garrisons being transitioned over into this new expansion. They're not entirely garrisons, but that's kind of their closer resemblance. So what class order halls are their order halls that are the base of operations for your class. So you share these with other players of your class. So for example, if you're a hunter and you go here, you'll only see hunters here. Other players that are hunters. If you're a paladin, you go here, you'll only see paladins. It's kind of like that. It's really cool. It sounds like, and the locations of these halls will be located in places that are appropriate to the areas of that class. Like shamans are getting a cave near the Maelstrom. Paladins are getting a place under the Lights Up Chapel. Warlocks will be on Legion Portal World, and places like that. You'll receive special quests and work on your artifact weapons there. And then Hall of the Champions, which is kind of similar to the follower system in the garrison, except there's going to be a lot less of them, and they're going to be more integrated into the world. So they'll work alongside you instead of, being sent on missions. So they're more involved. The next point is dungeons and raids. We know a few things about this, is that Halls of Valor is a leveling dungeon. Black Rook Hold is a max level dungeon that's in Val Shara. Vault of Wardens is a dungeon, and it's also the Demon Hunter starting zone. And it's where you begin your hunt for Illidan, so whatever that means. Not entirely sure. I have Ashara, Darkheart Thicket, Neltharian's Lair, Helheim, Suramar City, Violet Hold. Those are all becoming dungeons. I assume Violet Hold's going to be in Dalaran. Neltharian's Lair, because Neltharian is Deathwing. That's another location that's familiar to people. Let's see, the Emerald Nightmare is going to be a raid that consists of 7 bosses, and it takes place in the Emerald Dream. You're going to pursue Cenarius, and you're going to face Xavius. Now, let's see. Suramar Palace is a raid of 10 bosses, and that's where you're going to face against Gul'dan. So, that is probably, that's the last raid that we know of so far. I assume they're going to release more because, 2 raids really isn't enough. And then wrapping up here, we have the new honor system, which it's being revamped pretty significantly. The thing about Blizzard is that they don't want to focus on getting gear to be better in PvP, because apparently they say that people that are starting out in PvP, that's not fair to them, whatever that's supposed to mean, but that's how they look at it. There's going to be a PvP talent system that give you abilities that only work in PvP, so the more you PvP, the more talents you unlock. A few talents that are in this system are Dispel Magic, or it's called Abolish Magic, which dispels all magic every 2 seconds for 6 seconds, and it replaces Dispel Magic, which is a priest ability, and it's on a 20-second cooldown. Blood and Soil is a shaman talent that reduces the cooldown of heroism or bloodlust. There's Mind Quickness that adds 15% haste, Necrotic Strike, which absorbs heals on the target, and then there's Prestigious ranks, which, similar to the Call of Duty system of prestiging, they actually did mention Call of Duty in their press conference. That's not me trying to bash them in any way, but where there's going to be 50 PvP levels is what they call it, and then you can actually reset your PvP levels to increase your prestige rank. Every time you reset your PvP levels, you get another prestige rank, and the reason for prestige ranking is you can earn badges that go beside your unit frame that show your rank. You can earn mounts and PvP artifact variants. That's going back to the PvP artifacts, how there's a transmog for them that can only be unlocked through PvP. And that's about it. So to kind of wrap up, the max level is being increased to 110. Now there's no release date for the expansion, um, but there will be a beta later this year actually. And there is they're bringing the whole thing back with Warlords. If you pre-order the expansion, you get a free level 90 boost. If you pre-order this expansion, then you get a free level 100 boost. Well, not free since you're buying the expansion, but you do get a level 100 boost for one of your characters. But anyway, guys, that's it. That's all of the things that we know about the expansion. Leave any comments in the description, or leave any comments in the comment section if I missed anything. If you know any more about the expansion. This is just everything that I found, and like I said, there's going to be a lot more that's coming out in the next coming days, weeks, months, until the expansion comes out pretty much. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave a like on this video, share it with people, subscribe to the channel if you want, and that's it. See you in the next video.